Even though rice is a staple on so many tables in this world, the other half of the population is just mystified on how to make it. And I think the answer lies in geography and variety. So not all rice is created equal, and not all rice cooks the same. If you buy, it's kind of like if you buy canned vegetables, they're not going to cook the same or be of the same quality as if you buy fresh vegetables. So if you get really processed enriched rice from aisle 4 on your grocery store, it's not going to be the same as if you buy a varietal that has a history and a lineage and an actual technique to cooking it. So it's really important to keep this in mind. The ratios can be intimidating, but it's really not that big of a deal. Don't let it scare you. Just think about it like this. The longer the grain of the rice, the less water you need. So this is jasmine rice, and it's not quite as long as basmati rice, but the difference in the cooking style is with basmati rice, you want to soak the rice first, and you really are looking for individual grains. You want all the grains to be standing next to each other like soldiers in an army, next to each other but not stuck to each other. Jasmine rice is sort of like a little bit stickier. You don't soak it, but it's the same water ratio as basmati. Basmati, really, sorry to my people for using the Americanized pronunciation. And then as you get into shorter grains further east in Asia, the water ratio gets higher. Every cup of rice needs more water. Also important to note is how processed the rice is. Now, there's a difference between enriched rice that's already parboiled, so like Uncle Ben's is like half cooked. So by the time you get it into your pot, it's already it's never going to be good. So a variety like jasmine has a natural fragrance and nuances. It's not a whole grain. The brown bran has been removed, but it's still super delicious. And it's interesting also to note that jasmine rice is grown in Thailand and Cambodia and Laos and Vietnam, mostly Southeast Asia, but then you can also find varieties of it in South America, and cooking it with coconut is prevalent in Southeast Asia, but then also in the Caribbean. So there's a history lesson there that we won't get into today, but I'm excited to make this delicious, very easy coconut rice. So banish the fear and let's do this. So here we have 2 cups of jasmine rice that you got in your kit, and we're going to talk you through this process. It's going to be very easy. It's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes, but most of it is hands off. With rice like jasmine that's a little bit of a longer grain, I like to rinse the starch, and so I would do this with basmati rice, jasmine rice, and pretty much that's about it. Those are the 2 long grain rice varieties that I cook. And so take the 2 cups of rice, and you're basically washing some of the starch out. You can definitely use a strainer if you're not a lifelong expert in straining rice through your fingers. And you want to do this at least 3 times. 3 rinses is the minimum. If you have an Asian mother, you know you're going to do it 5 times. You can certainly do this in a rice cooker, but it's so much faster to just do it on the stove. So we've already rinsed our rice, and the ratio for jasmine and basmati rice is 1 cup of rice to about 1¼ cup of water. You're gonna Google this and you're gonna see a lot of 1½ and 2 cups. I don't buy it. I've been doing it like this for a long time and it always comes out really good. Today, since we're making coconut rice, we're gonna substitute a little bit of the water with coconut milk. It's not quite 1:1. If you wanted to make something more desserty, you could use all coconut milk, but we're gonna do that tiny can, which is just about 2/3 of a cup of coconut milk, and then to get to just about 2½ cups of water, we're gonna add 1 3/4 cups. So this combined is gonna make 2½ cups of liquid, which we're gonna bring to a boil. That was a little hotter than we expected, but that's okay. And we did strain out every bit of water that we could from this rice, so our ratio is not messed up. I've got my liquid in the pot on high heat. We're gonna season kind of generously with salt. There's another source of debate about salting your rice before it's cooked or after. I like to do it before. So salt does play a role in how the rice cooks, but what it does is keeps it from getting too sticky. And I like my rice to have individual grain integrity, so I like to season my water with salt. Okay, so this liquid has come up to a boil really quickly. Make sure you keep an eye on it because coconut milk will boil over like regular milk. As soon as it comes to a boil, don't let it evaporate because that'll mess up your ratio. Add in all of your rice. Try and get every grain and use a little bit of the liquid if you need to. All right, and stir it in. Turn your heat back up and do not walk away at this point. Stir it so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. And what we're looking for is for it to start boiling again. Okay, so it's already come up to a boil. It's taken about 2 minutes again. Give it one last stir. It already smells like a tropical vacation. And I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to move it to a really low burner. And I'm going to set the timer for 14 minutes. Okay, our timer's gone off. We have not lifted the lid off this pot at all. Please do not lift the lid off the pot. Don't let the steam, aka magic, out. At this point, we're going to reset our timer again for 5 minutes. Without looking, have a little faith. Okay, the reveal. I know it looks kind of sticky, but this rice does have some fat in it because of the coconut milk. Oh my God, it smells incredible. So you can see that it's sort of a cross between a sticky and an individual grain. You can still see each grain. And you want to get all the rice you can. If you had a little bit of a brown bottom, that's your cook's bonus. Of course, you want to taste it. Oh my God. It's already so good. but we're gonna add another layer. This coconut rice is so delicious. It smells like a vacation. We're gonna make it even better because if we don't gild the lily at Garland, what are we doing? So you have coconut milk in your kit, and you're gonna bloom that into your hot skillet. Now here, you can just use your imagination. If you love cumin, I would pop some whole cumin seeds in here, mustard seeds. If you happen to have curry leaves, please apply for a job at Garland. But you know, whatever you have on hand, anything aromatic and delicious. But just a simple bloom of already toasted coconut that's in your kit. I really love peanuts at this stage, but if you're allergic, then please do not use peanuts. And what this basically is sort of like a rice tarka, and everybody talks about tarka and chonk lately in the food world, which makes me really happy. But it's basically blooming at the end of a dish, blooming some spices that add texture and another layer of aromatic. So since the coconut is already toasted, you don't need to do very much, but you're just kind of waking it up. This is just a little pro tip, as they say. And then squeeze a little lime on top of this whole situation, and it's gonna sizzle a little, and that tells you that it's doing its job. If you don't want to use the whole lime, use the other one in your margarita. And that's it. Coconut rice for your dinner.